Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming on. Hi, I am Michelle O'Connor, your business growth advisor, and I want to acknowledge everyone who is on. I want you to go ahead and share in the comments where you're joining from and your role or where do you work. Just let me know so we can know what examples to use as we go through. So, I'm a business growth advisor, and I have been working with medical private practice owners, helping them to develop growth plans for their practice. Now, this is an area that has become a passion of mine because while working with medical practitioners who are owners of their own practice, I've realized that they complain about one thing. We did not do business in medical school, or we didn't do enough of it. And now I'm a CEO and I'm expected to operate this practice, and I really don't know what to do, or I'm just winging it. Or it could be, I'm just trying to see if I can stay afloat, pay the bills, pay my team. But if you are feeling overwhelmed with that, I want you to stay on this live because we're going to be talking about some of the things that I really want you to consider as we move into quarter three, or we're already in quarter three. Now, one of the things that I know happens, and you see it all over social media. Oh, it's a new month, it's a new quarter, let's set bigger goals, let's go after those goals, let's push, 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 push. But I want you to consider this for a minute. A lot of times, what we fail to do is to pause and reflect and assess how we have really performed over the year. Now, in my experience working in corporate, large financial institution and leading some of these discussions, one of the things that remain consistent is that you assess your performance for the previous quarter and you see what has worked, what hasn't worked, and what you need to do differently. Now, for a lot of us, you're a smaller business, you don't have all the perks of a large company where they have a strategy office, they have somebody in charge of the various departments. You are everything. You may not have the capacity to sit back and, okay, let me go through every minute detail. For some things, because you're doing everything, it may be habits. And I did highlight that in a newsletter that I wrote on LinkedIn, that sometimes as a CEO, as a boss, one of the things that we need to reflect on is what habits have we developed? Now I'm going to use this example. Every week for, you may be trying to make a list of the patients who have made appointments, or you're trying to reach out. One of the things that I encourage persons to do is you have an end goal. There are things that you need to do in between. In your assessment, how have you performed on the things that you need to do in between? Did you start and stop because, you know what, I didn't get the results I wanted. It didn't work out the way I was planning, and so I gave up. I want to encourage you to do some reflection before you go setting that large goal for quarter three, before you go saying, I'm going harder and I'm going to work longer. What if the things that you're going hard at has not worked in the past? What if the things that you've been pushing yourself to go for, it's not working, it's not generating the results that I want? And that is what I want to encourage you to do as you go into quarter three. Now, the first thing that you do is do your assessment. Look at the activities that you focused on. Look at the services that you offered. Look at your numbers. If you're new to my platform, this may be new, but if you've been here before, this is something that I preach on a regular basis. Look at your numbers. Your numbers never lie. So you're looking at the services that you offer. You're looking at what revenue was I able to generate or bring in from these services, and question it. Okay, this one performed well. Why did it perform well? Could it be because of the month? Could it be because, it's a season and a lot of persons are coming in? Students are now going into another grade and they need their medical done, so persons are coming in. What's the result of that? If it's the end of a particular, persons are going away on their vacation, so they're coming in to get a certain kind of vaccine, or they're coming to you for a special flu shot. Like what's the result? What has caused the result? Because what you don't want to do as well is to look at a number and look at a service or a product that you're offering, and you're seeing that, you know what, it's selling, it's hitting the mark, it's doing very well. Let's do it again next month. And you don't know why you do it the next month and you don't generate the result, and you think something is wrong. Ask questions behind your numbers. Do the very same thing for the ones that you have performed very well at. You haven't performed very well at. So it may not have worked, but why didn't it work? And I use this example. I went to a doctor for a particular service that they offered. And one of the things that I was told is that it required 4 follow-up. Mercury wasn't a life-threatening, it's just a personal thing, right? And they said it required 4 treatments. I'm like, all right, no problem. They set an appointment for 1 treatment. I wasn't able to make it, but nobody called me. I called to say, can I reschedule? But after that, I never heard anything from anybody. So for the product or service that you offer that has not performed very well, ask yourself, is it because I did not do something? Is it because my team did not do something? Is it because the marketing campaign that we have was not effective? Because maybe you do have a good product or a good service that you're offering. It's just the work behind it. So if you're not following up with your patients, you're not calling your clients, you're not trying to see, hey, are you just confirming, we have you booked? You may have sent a text, you may have sent an email. The old thing that we used to do back in the day where we pick the phone up and we listen to somebody's voice, that still works. If you're not doing that, maybe they're not coming in. Somebody else is doing it. Somebody else is calling. Somebody else is reminding them that they have an appointment. And so think about that. So the assessment period is very, very important. And if you can't do it by yourself, because I know what happens to persons, and we've done this in corporate. There's a reason you have operations and there's a reason you have strategy. It's very difficult for the mind to work both things at the same time. During my experience in strategy, we were seen as the villain because we're always pushing our executives to think strategic. So, I can't come to that meeting. We have work to do. You guys in strategy, we have money to make that. But guess what? At the end of the day, you need, in order to plan for the future, because if you're thinking about getting to this goal right here, after this goal, there is something else. That's where your strategy comes in, because we now have to think about, after you've achieved this goal, there's somewhere else that you need to go. Somebody needs to be thinking about it and bringing persons in on that conversation. So it's the same thing with you. When you're in your business and you're constantly working and thinking about serving your patients, paying the bill, paying your team, doing your account, starting out your application, looking about insurance, refunds, you name it, insurance claims, you have a lot of things to do. And so if you even need to have somebody who is pulling you away for a day or a few hours so they can ask you those questions, really and truly, did this not work because, and ask you some follow-up questions. Sometimes the person your practice on a day-to-day basis are the ones who are able to provide you with some insights that you probably have never thought of. Remember, if you're just joining, go ahead, if you have questions, go ahead, drop your questions in the chat, in the comment field. Let me know where you're joining from, who you are, etc. We want to make this a conversation. So if it is that for any reason you don't question your numbers, you may find yourself just taking on activities and doing things that aren't really beneficial for your practice. And that is not what you want to do. You want to be effective with your time. You want to focus on the things that are going to make a return, and also the things that bring you joy. I've had clients before, and one of the things they're like, listen, I do this procedure, but I don't like it. Why are you pushing it? Is there anything else that you can do that you love, that you'll be able to run a profitable practice from? So your assessment is very, very important. What worked? Why did it work? Do you want to continue doing it? Think about what didn't work. Why didn't it work? It may not have worked, not because it's not a good thing. It's just that, guess what? My habits were just not there. I had a conversation with someone maybe a few weeks ago. We joined a program together back in 2021, and she's doing amazing work. And I'm there and I'm like, I mean, she's performing way better than I am, to be honest. And one of the things, when I listened to her talk, one of the things she was saying, she stayed up late for maybe 6 months, 7 months, working 7 days per week, like every day. She also said she was reaching out to persons on a particular social media platform until her hands were stiff. Like she even got blocked by that social media platform because they're like, these are just way too many DMs. But in the end, it turned out that it worked for her. Is that the way you're going to go? No, I'm not saying that you should do it, but I'm just showing you that sometimes when one thing doesn't work, if you're really passionate about it and you do your evaluation and your internal evaluation for yourself, you know what you need to continue to do in order to drive the results that you want. And also remember, everybody's result is different. We're not here, everyone is not here trying to be a millionaire. There are persons who are just trying to help persons live a better life, and they are good living their simple life. But you just want to be able to develop habits that can help you to move forward. Yesterday, I had my quarterly planning session. My accountability partner and I, we met for some time to go through what our financial goals are, what are the activities that we're going to be doing that's leading us to those goals, what are the systems that we need to have in place, the resources or own knowledge, and the activities that will drive those results. No, it was hard work. And both of us appreciated the fact that we were both on the call together having that conversation, simply because maybe if I was sitting by myself and doing it, I would have quit because I'm like, oh my God, these numbers look intimidating. But what we also did was we looked back at what we were doing for the previous quarter. What were the things that we were focused on that gave us some information that we can use for the next quarter? And I know this is not the glamour work that persons want to do. I know it. I worked in corporate. I just said it. I worked in corporate, right? It's not the glamour work. But if you have a busy period, I want you to think about this. When you have a plan that's like completely thought through, you didn't just pick it from somebody's platform, you didn't just pick an activity that you saw somebody else doing. You made a decision that you were going to focus on this because it meant something for your business. In the moments when you are very, very tired or you're overwhelmed, it's like you have a map, you have a guide, you can take it up and I don't have any time to think today, but let me see, what did I plan on doing? And you go directly to your plan, you can get up and go to work immediately. But if you keep working, if you keep running, if you keep spinning on that wheel like a hamster, what is going to happen is you're just always doing things and you don't know where your results are coming from. You don't know what is working, what isn't working. You're just doing. Take some time to pull yourself away to do a proper plan so your next quarter can be impactful and successful. You may not reach your financial goal. You may not have reached the financial goals for last quarter, but you hear persons telling you, set bigger goals. It's time to dream big. But what if you need to assess why do you need to go after bigger goals if you haven't achieved the goals from the last quarter? What do you need to change? What do you need to improve on? What do you need to work on? What do you need to do differently? Maybe you need to go to your bed early. Maybe you need to wake up at a different time. You need to exercise. You need to work on focus on what you're eating. You are a solopreneur. You don't have, or maybe you have 2-3 persons working with you. You don't have a large team like everybody else. And so how you make your decisions about how you show up daily is different from other persons. And on this point, I want to encourage you. When you have mentors or person that you're looking up to, I want you to remember that you get to choose those persons based on your values. So then again, you need to know what your values are. So yes, this person might be a billionaire. They may have thousands, millions of followers, but based on their life, is this somebody I want to emulate? Can I afford to do that? Maybe they were able to make all their sacrifices, stay up late, work for 7 days because they didn't have any other responsibility. They didn't have family members that they needed to take care of. It may be different for you. And that is why having a plan is so important. You get to sit down, look at your life, look at your capacity. What can I manage? What can I take on? And then you make your decisions from there. I am able to do X, Y, and Z because the life I have can accommodate it. And not that you're not going to stretch yourself some more, because we can use our circumstances sometimes as excuses to hold us back. But you want to make sure that the persons you're looking on and the decisions you're making on your life currently, you are able to continue doing it. Because remember, it's about developing the habits, developing habits that you can continue. Now, you're doing everything, remember, and I want to remind you, assess what you did last quarter. Think about what worked, what didn't work. Think about what you can do differently before you go setting those huge goals for the next quarter. Because all you're going to do is really frustrate yourself because you don't have the habit of doing it. I keep forgetting his name, Sarah Blakely's husband, and he talked about the fact that he tried for 10 days to eat fruits. He read a book, started a book, and decided to take the challenge on. Just eat fruits up until 12 for 10 days. And then he went back to eating what he normally ate, and he didn't like how his body feel. And so he went back to eating fruits up to 12. So he eats just that. He's been doing it for years. But what that meant is that he needed to do it for a while and see what happens. What habits are you developing? I shared this before. One of the things I do not practice is snoozing my alarm. When my alarm goes off in the morning, I get up and I don't even think about it. What I'm training myself to do is when I make a decision to do something, I do it. Have I fallen off? Many times. I've fallen off of showing up on my life for the past month and a half. I had some other things that I was doing, but I said to myself, no matter what, I am training myself to know when I make a decision, I'm going to follow through on it. And that is what you want to do for your business. You want to train yourself to develop those habits that you continue to do things. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but how am I going to push through our community? So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I'm not telling you to go and set bigger goals, go after quarter 3. Yes, you're going to push and you want to go and you want to do greater things. But reflection is also very, very important. So you can put your energy into things that not only satisfies your soul, but generate results as well, and also impact the lives of others, because that is what we're all here to do. So thank you, Andrea, for coming on. And for anybody else who is on who may not have shared your contact details, I'm Michelle O'Connor, your business growth advisor. I am into strategy and I'm into planning. It's what I love. And currently I'm offering the Profitable Private Practice consultation sessions for those who own private practices. So if this is something that interests you and you want to learn more, you want to have a conversation, I'm dropping my link to my calendar in the chat. You can go ahead, schedule your free consultation. Let's talk about how it is that you can make the next quarter one that makes you breathe and feel like, you know what, I've done it. So thank you again. Any comments that you have, I want you to share with me. If you're watching this replay, I go back through and listen and watch and read wherever you're joining from. So thank you. And here's to a wonderful, wonderful quarter 3. Reach out to me if you need more support. Take care. Bye.